Hey guys, welcome to the daily news analysis of 12th of January guys. Let's see the very first news. First news is about National Youth Festival, and it is basically celebrated today on the, it will be celebrated today on the basically occasion of birth anniversary of Swami Vivekanand, who is also known as the youth icon of India. And it will be organized by Ministry of Youth and Affairs and Sports, and it is said that it will be acting as a platform which will bring about all the youths from different regions of the country together, and it will give them opportunities also to in order to showcase their talent and various activities. And the theme of this National Youth Festival is kept as Sankalp Se Siddhi, and through this the government wants that in future the demographic dividend of young India of today could be capitalized in near future, right? And so that the the vibrant India's feeling could be ingrained on their mind, and the target of new India could be achieved, right? So it is also said that the festival will provide an arena by creating a mini India where youth interact in formal and informal setting and exchange their social culture and uniqueness. And for the fact being, it is also written in this article that the first international for the first National Youth Festival was held in 1995 in Bhopal. Next news is about National Trust. Before seeing this, what is National Trust? Let's see the why was it as news. See, actually, Union Cabinet has approved for an amendment of an act which is called National Trust for Welfare of Persons with Autism, Cerebral Palsy, Mental Retardation and Multiple Disability Act 1999 in order to fix the term of chairperson and members of board of National Trust for 3 years. Earlier, this term was not fixed, but now it will be fixed. Now see what is this National Trust. Now it is a statutory body which is coming under the Department of Empowerment of Persons with Disability under the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. And the mission of this National Trust is mainly to provide opportunity for capacity building development for the person with disability as well as the families of those person with disabilities, right? So under this, they have basically two major duties. First is legal and next is welfare duty. First, legal duty will be discharged through local level committee, and welfare duty is discharged through the schemes and activities of National Trust, which are training, awareness, capacity building, caregiving, empowerment, etc. Next news is about MPLA scheme, that is Member of Parliament Local Arena Development Scheme, and this was in news because Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs basically has increased the time frame of this MPLA scheme till 2020 31st March, right? Now let's see about what is the scheme all about, guys. So this was firstly launched in 1993, and the objective of the mainly of this scheme is to enable the Member of Parliament to recommend work of developmental nature with emphasis on creation of durable community assets based on locally felt needs to be taken up in the constituency. All the MPs will be centrally funded, 100% centrally funded by the center, and they will be giving a fund of 5 crore rupees, and they will be asked to carry out some sort of development activities from where they have selected, in their constituencies, in the rural region of their constituencies, right? And guys, if you have confusion that if MPs will be given, then what about those MPs who are nominated by the President of India? Yes, they can also avail the money, and it is on their right. They can spend wherever they want to, right? It is not mandatory that from wherever the region they belong to, they have to spend that money in there only, right? They can spend anywhere. Like recently, I'll try to give you an example. Sachin Tendulkar, though, is in Maharashtra, right? But he has spent the previous year's MPLA scheme for the infrastructural growth of a rural region of West Bengal, right? So just to give you knowledge. Now what are the kind of developmental works MPs can carry out in this under this MPLA scheme? For the building of governmental aided or unaided educational institutions, for the construction of drainage and gutters, for the construction of pathways, and as well as footbridges, bus stops, bus sheds of public transport passengers, public toilet and bathroom, and whatever be the construction activity, whichever is being needed for that region to get developed. So those can be developed, spent under this program. Next news is about leads index, that is logistic ease across different states index. Actually, it is a perception based index which is being which is being carried out by Deloitte, right? And it is a stakeholder survey in which the stakeholders which are related directly or indirectly related to logistics, so they will be asked that how is their perception of the logistics in different states. So on that logistic index, guys, first rank has been secured by Gujarat, followed by Punjab and Andhra Pradesh in second and third position. Now it is a composite indicator which will access international trade of logistics across states and union territories, and leads is based basically on 8 parameters. Those are infrastructure, service, timeliness, track and trace, competitiveness of pricing, safety of cargo, operation, environment and regulatory process. And under this leads a report that came in which it was said that in many areas improvement is still needed, like supply chain efficiencies, economy of scale are yet to be unlocked, right? Investment must be done in building scale in infrastructure, automation, human capital as well as technology. And few of the other problems highlighted in this index was there's inadequate terminal capacity, poor last mile terminal connectivity, as well as issues in regulatory services, right? So those all things need to be carried upon at a very lucid and smooth manner. Now regulations will be done through a cumbersome rules, and under this report only, actually it has been asked by the government that the government must come up with some sort of regulation with some cumbersome rules, some strict rules, so that the challenges could be met up by the government. And government need to invest in many different sectors, which are also been already been highlighted in previous slides, right? And it's not that the government has not done anything. Government has done many things to push it forward, right? An example is also given that recently government has granted infrastructural status to the logistics sector, so that it can enable the industry to get access to the cheap finances, right? So government has only done this. So it's not that the government has not done this, but still there are many fronts where government need to do investment, so that this logistics of every states could be get much more enhanced and much more efficient, right? So this was about it. Next is about UIDAI has introduced two-tier security to shield Aadhaar data. Now you might be hearing different reports of Aadhaar breach data, right? So that's why UIDAI has come up with a new strategy in which they will come up with two-tier security process, in which they will be giving an virtual ID with temporary 16-digit random number, which will be mapped on Aadhaar number, right? Now up till now, what you had been doing, like if you want to purchase any mobile phone, then you had to go to that place, right? You had to go to the shop, and you had to go to give that money to purchase mobile phone, as well as you had to give the Aadhaar number, right? From now onwards, you don't need to give Aadhaar number, you just have to give that virtual ID number, right? And that virtual ID, how to obtain that virtual ID, everything is not though mentioned in this article, because this is just in a planning process, and this will be come up, government will come up with this at a later stage, most probably after June. So later we'll read about it, but it will be kind of virtual ID which will not be permanent. It will be temporary, means after a certain period of time those virtual ID will keep on changing, right? And it is being said that the duplication will be getting reduced, as well as the security breaches, data breach of this Aadhaar could also be minimized in future days. Next news is about Matunga railway station. It was a news because recently it has enrolled itself in Limca Book of World Record 2018, and it has become the first station in India which has all the women staffs managing the operations of the state, in all the department, whether that be commercial department, whether that be railway police force department, whether that be operation department, or whether that be any department. So every members, every staffs there are women. So that's why, and it is under the Central Railways Mumbai division, this railway station falls under, right? Next news is about Charlie 435, and it is an Indian Coast Guard. Actually, this is a patrol vessel of Indian Coast Guard which has been recently deployed, and it is said that it is a state-of-art patrol vessel with modern navigation and communication system. So these are the factual thing. Next news is about a Sphoorti application which is called Smart Fleet Operation Optimization and a Real-Time Information application, and it is basically to help traffic flows and optimize the fleet operations of the Ministry of Railways. And that's why Ministry of Railways has come up with this Sphoorti app for the fleet managers, which provides a feature for monitoring and managing fleet business using the geographical information system. Means they will be taken the help of GIS based system. So indeed it is a very good news, because the railway ministry could get an hand on and a real-time information of whatever being the fleet operations that is being taking place in India, right? And it is being said that with this application, the movement of freight trains on geographic information system view can be tracked, and both the passengers and freight trains can be tracked over zones, divisions, sections in a single GIS window, and freight business can also be monitored, and comparative analysis of zonal and divisional traffic will be done through it. Analysis of new traffic captured and traffic lost can also be analyzed, because all the real-time information will be having by Ministry of Railways, and Ministry of Railways can keep a good vigil over the different places where the new traffic is getting captured, or the places from where the traffic is getting lost. And similarly, I mean, after having all those data, in future days, government can come up with different sort of plans regarding that, right? So yeah, it is good. And these are also the same thing only, guys. You just read about it, just go through it. I've already discussed the main theme of it, right? Next news about Collegium has recently recommended a woman advocate, and her name is Indu Malhotra, and she is also the first woman lawyer to be directly recommended from the Bar Council of India, right? And she is also being recommended by the Collegium system of Supreme Court. Now, from both the sides, recommendations has been done, but the Collegium system of Supreme Court has also recommended one other judge from Uttarakhand, actually, who has obstructed the precedent rule to apply in Uttarakhand. So he has also been recommended by Supreme Court. So let's see, now the case is with the government, what government will decide, right? So anyways, if appointed, it is being said that Mrs. Indu Malhotra would become the the only 7th woman judge in the Supreme Court's 68-old history. Means in the history of Indian history of after independence history, she will be the 7th woman judge of Supreme Court, right? And also she will become the 8th lawyer to be directly appointed to the Supreme Court bench, right? She will be directly appointed. And for your information, if you at all want to know a few facts, then the first woman who served the Supreme Court judge was Fatima Bibi, right? Next news about Mullaperiyar Dam. Actually, this dam is situated in Kerala. You can see in the picture below, guys. Actually, this was news because Supreme Court has asked the central government, the Tamil Nadu government and the Kerala government to set up a panel to prepare disaster management plans, alright, of this Mullaperiyar Dam. Actually, there was a petition was being filed in the Supreme Court by those people who are living in the downstream regions, right? So that's why Supreme Court said that okay, just set up a panel who will prepare the disaster management plans, despite of the fact that Union government before few days has said Supreme Court that Mullaperiyar Dam is absolutely safe. But Supreme Court has said, okay, I'm just hearing the thing you have said. Okay, it might be safe, but still, since people are afraid that any future calamity can happen, so just it's better to set up a panel. I'm not telling that panel will move into any sort of they will not do any kind of lifespan or safety of dam work, right? They won't do that. They will just prepare a disaster management plan that in case of future calamity or future disaster, and how government is going to contain the loss of life, damage of property, etc., right? So this was the news. Next news about India-Maldives relation. Actually, recently the foreign minister of Maldives was in visit to India. So that's why this was the news. So let's read about it, guys. See, actually, before few days, the relations of India and Maldives has got disbalanced, just because of the reason being, Maldives has done a free trade agreement with China, right? And they had done it at a very fast pace. Means, see, if any country is doing free trade agreement with any different country, then they take some sort of time, na? If India is doing free trade agreement with, say, for example, United States of India, then we will take time. We'll see the prospect that what is, the benefit, what is the pros and what are the cons of it. But they didn't do it. It was being proposed in the Maldives parliament, and that has been passed very fast. So that's why it shows that the importance that Maldives gives to China, and which is not being India can't consider the footprint of China in Indian Ocean region, right? And the country like Maldives, Sri Lanka are doing such kind of activities which is irking India, right? So that's why the relations had got very down, and that's why the government of Maldives has sent their foreign minister And few of the talks has happened basically, in which India has said that Maldives will be reliable and close neighbor of India, and will in future will always support the progress and security of the Maldives region, as well as will try to enhance our defense and security cooperations with Maldives, as well as India will have always see the neighborhood first policy, as well as Maldives government has also said that okay, we are also ready that we will use India first policy first. But as we have seen the free trade agreement, that is not at all India first policy, because if that would have been India first policy, then that they would have considered, they would have taken few more time to consider this free trade agreement, which they have not done. But it is geopolitics, and geopolitics, nobody's nobody's your friend and nobody's your enemy, right? So everything comes on. So anyways guys, this was in news. So yeah, today's video is over guys. We'll meet in tomorrow's class. Till then, bye bye, take care, and thank you for very much for listening to this video class guys. Do share it with your friends. Bye bye, take care.